Okay guys, so I'd like to show you how I recovered my data from a program which was stuck using Delve, which is the Go debugger. How I ended up in that situation in the first place, and also how you can prevent the situation. So firstly, just for some background, this is a separate program which I'll be making a separate series of videos on. But basically, we load some stuff. We have this output variable. Okay, we loop over the verse keys, which I'll explain in the other video, and we add some data to output for each verse key. That's basic things. That's a basic thing. After that, what we do is we save the verse key to a file and we exit. This is a basic program. Now there is a split translation function which actually calls a Gemini API, and so the way I've designed this is that the Gemini API has 15 requests per minute for the free tier. So for this model, so I have added a configuration option for requests per minute. If I have set it to 15 by default, that's because that's the free tier. And I calculated timeout, which basically, so what this says is that for every 64 seconds, we'll have 15 requests, and it divides that accordingly, and it will wait for that amount of time. So, for example, if we have 15 requests per minute, it will wait for 60 divided by 15, which is 4 seconds after each request. Here I have put it to 64 because I want some extra breathing space. I don't want the rate limit message because that will cause my program to exit, which I'll show you why. Now, initially what I did was I mistakenly put it to 59. Like instead of adding one, I subtracted one. So that made the timeout to be around 3.9 seconds. Uh, I ran the program. I did not realize it yet. And after that, when the program was still running, I went back and checked it, that it was 3.93. So I thought, okay, now if I just leave this and go do some work, my program will get rate limited in the middle and it will exit. Okay, and that will basically waste some of my time. So I thought what I'll do is in the split translation function, there's the API call to Gemini. If I can make this error out somehow, it will return the error and it will return the error here. Oh, sorry, here. And what it will do is it will cause my program to exit and save the already processed data. So I did that once, but I forgot to actually change the thing. I think I did it, but I forgot to recompile. So I ran the program again. This time, what happened was when I turned, so I had turned off my internet, then I turned it back on. This time, when I turned it back off and I turned it back on again, my program just got stuck. Like, this request, it was not erroring out, nor was it, timing out, nor was it returning anything. So my program got stuck, but I again had a lot of data. Okay, now the option that I had was I could control C out of it, which would give it a SIGINT signal, but that would mean that my data would not be saved because we're saving it out of the loop. Okay, so what I did was I consulted some documentation. I had used Delve before, which is a Go debugger, but I did not know that it can actually attach to a running process. So which is a very cool. So I consulted some documentation. I consulted some AI also, and I attached into the process. Now the process is not running, so I'll just I had a core dump, so I'll just use the core dump. By the way, this is not the exact executable. I have changed the time, but it's working with the core dump. So I mean, let's see. Just let it be, I guess. So basically, uh, I went here. I went to help. I thought, okay, I just have to print the output. Okay, it would not find the value. I thought maybe I just have to qualify it with the you know the package name. I thought I had to qualify it with the full package name, which by the way it is not the correct package name. I checked it later, but I thought that was my package name, but that was not a package name either. I thought I had to do this package name, which is the correct package name, but it would not, or the module name, I guess, but it would not work still. So then then okay, I consulted some documentation and some AI again, and I thought, okay, I was told that I have to uh, run this command. So this was the go routine which was stuck, I think, or these two, they sort of blocking each other. So I had to basically locate the output variable to extract it. So I went to the first go routine, because that's generally the main go routine. BT prints a stack trace, or like the call stack. Okay, and I see that this is calling main.split translation, but the actual output variable is not in split translation. If you can go here, it's not in this function, it's in the main function here. So, oh, sorry. So, I went to frame 18, which was main.main. Okay, here, then if we print output, we actually get the output, right? Now, this, just for the sake of data recovery, this would be enough, because you could technically copy the data and you could process it. But I wanted to see if I could do it in a better way, do it using, or rather, get it to output proper JSON and exit gracefully, like it does normally. So for that, what I thought was, uh, this is not, sorry, this function is not exiting, not returning anything. It's not even timing out. So I have to somehow make this exit. What that would lead to is, it will give an error which will be handled, as I said here. The program will break out of the loop, and then it will save the data. But so I ran some commands, which was, for example, ls of, that was the process ID. I mean, it will not work now because the process is not running. But so I saw that there's no actually established connection. Okay, meaning that the program is not actually connected to the internet at all. So then, also there was this asterisk command which AI told me, Claude more specifically, but it would not work. Even when the process was running, it would give insufficient permissions error. Even with duas and even with su, it would still not work. So, mm, okay, I skipped that. Then what it was suggesting me to do is, I should set a breakpoint somewhere. I should let the program continue, and at that breakpoint I can get the data out. Okay, which is fine. Or at that breakpoint, rather, I can execute custom commands which will save the data. So, execute custom code which will save the data. But the thing was that this was stuck in these two go routines in the network call, so I was not able to run a command, because that requires go routine scheduling. But the go routine is already stuck, so it would not work. That's what I understood from it. So we had to do something else. We had to make this exit somehow. Otherwise, we're not going to get anywhere. So what AI suggested me to do was to basically run this command on the run this command on the process ID. But I investigated I investigated the signal, and this signal actually causes the program to exit. This basically equivalent to pressing Control C. So I looked into it some more. That okay, even the network is connection is not established. It is only probably stuck on some IO thing. So I found out that the user, which is this okay, sorry, that this URG, this signal actually does not cause the program to exit, but it will sort of make it exit all the IO operations, or it will disturb the IO operations. When I ran that, at that point, my program actually, this function exited with an error, and it broke out of the loop, and it saved the data. So my data was recovered that way. I ended up in this situation again. Now I don't know. Did I forget to recompile, or did I forget to I don't know. I don't remember. But I got into the same situation again. This time, what I did was, I was not actually stuck at this point, because when I realized that the timeout was still 3.9 seconds, I did not turn off my internet, because I thought because I knew I could get stuck again like that, and that would be very annoying. So I just attached the delve to the running process. I added a breakpoint somewhere, I think around here, and I just, or not here, but here rather, and I printed the output that it worked without any problems, just like that. Also, previously I had, as soon as I got access to the mm, program, I first thing I did was get a code dump so that even if the program exits, I would not the data would not be lost. DLV dump and just whatever file name you want. Oh, sorry. Okay, because we are running from a code dump itself, it will not work. But you get the point. So now coming back to this. Here, what I did was I had the so go routine was not stuck, so I could execute commands, right? But for some reason, the marshalling commands was not working, and it was also not possible to write to the output file. This it seems to be because there was some optimization which was being applied. Because again, I am not compiling this as a debug program. I had compiled it normally, and it just happened. It happened to be that Delve could attach to this process. So uh, we were stuck again. But this time, what I could do was I could actually put a breakpoint here. Okay, the error value would be nil because the program was getting proper results up till now. The limit had not been reached, and the error was nil, but I set it to some error value that caused it to return the error, and that caused my program to exit and save the file. Now, this was not that easy because to create an error, you need so you need this function, right? New. But in the debugger, you cannot import a package which was not already imported. So the errors package was not imported. So I tried to set it to a string, but it is statically typed, so it will not work. I checked if there was any other error in the scope, but it did not seem to be. So then, after consulting some Claude, etc., I realized that okay, I have context imported, I have OS imported. I could just pick an error from those, right? So you could pick. I think the one which I picked was context dot cancelled. Uh, I could also have picked OS dot error not found or any of these errors. But I set it to one of those errors, and then I let it continue. So this breakpoint set the error, make it continue, and then the program exited and it saved the data. So this is how I got stuck 3 times, and I used different methods every time to recover my data. Now, the way to prevent this is actually to implement a custom SIGINT handler, which basically when you press Control C, it will not abruptly exit the program. You can make it actually, run this bit of code, for example, and then you can exit the program. So that will be a sort of a graceful exit, and you will not lose your data. And also, I mean, it was a good learning experience for using Delve and debuggers in general. So this is basically how you make make it how you make it work. Uh, okay, I'm not sure how I deal with the init function, but we'll see about that. That was the video. So yeah, that was it. Bye.